This is the download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news in the business of podcasting. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Wednesday, May 27th. First up, prime time is podcast time, smart TVs and podcasts in the UK. The new Signal Hill Insights Pulse Report, Podcasts in the Living Room UK, conducted with FlightStory, finds the 45% of monthly podcast consumers in the UK have used a smart TV to listen to podcasts in the past month. Just 27% used a smart speaker. Smart TVs are now the second most used device for podcast consumption in the UK, ahead of computers at 44%. 54% of video podcast viewers are consuming their podcast during prime time, that's 7 to 11 p.m., outpacing the afternoon commute, 4 to 7 p.m., at 31%. Taken together, Signal Hill Insights President Paul Riesmandel says the data suggests video podcasting is becoming more popular as living room viewing in the UK and increasingly resembles primetime television content for those users. Next up, NPR, NPM, and PRX collaborate to expand revenue opportunities for public radio stations. National Public Radio, its sponsorship subsidiary National Public Media, and PRX have announced a collaboration to give stations a more flexible way to monetize their podcasts. Now, NPM can handle sponsorship sales for individual stations' content hosted and distributed through PRX's Dovetail podcast publishing and monetization platform. Podcasts from Boise State Public Radio, LAist, VPM in Virginia, WGCU in Southwest Florida, and WWNO in New Orleans are among the early adopters distributed via Dovetail and supported by NPM sponsorship sales. Next up, Supporting Cast becomes the first podcast subscription platform to deliver gated video on Spotify. Subscription platform Supporting Cast has launched gated subscriber-only video content on Spotify using Spotify's distribution API. Subscribers who connect their Spotify account to a publisher's Supporting Cast-powered account can now access exclusive video episodes within the Spotify app alongside the rest of their content library. The first two shows to utilize this new feature are the journalist-led independent podcast Libero and Legacy. And for our final top story, The Unwinding by Brian Morrissey. Morrissey examines the collapse of page view-based publisher models built for companies in the 2000s and 2010s. With the new AI-focused version of Google Search further eroding direct search engine traffic to publishers, companies like Business Insider find themselves left in a lurch. The recent sale of Vox Media specifically valued the podcast network and New York Magazine assets over many other parts of Vox. In the modern media ecosystem, owned podcast networks have evolved from a nice-to-have side gig into a core asset that drives a company's value. As for the rest of the news, Spotify users soon will have the ability to create and share clips of podcasts, with availability, quote, starting to roll out globally to free and premium users on mobile, end quote. Elsewhere in the Spotify world, global head of ad product, Katie English, has recently been interviewed by Anthony Vargas for Ad Exchanger, and Spotify's global head of podcasts, Roman Wassenmüller, sat down with Natalie Jarvie for Like and Subscribe to be interviewed. Amplify Media founder Stephen Goldstein shares the conversation topics and takeaways from a panel he moderated at the podcast show London, featuring panelists Tom Webster, Dan Meisner, and Christiana Brenton. Speaking of Podcast Show London, Acast CEO Greg Glenday has shared his keynote speech from last week about the free-flowing nature of podcasting's future. And finally, Reclaiming with Monica Lewinsky is now officially part of the Forward Network's portfolio. That does it for today's episode. You can find links to everything I just talked about by clicking the one link in your show notes. That'll take you to today's episode post on soundsprofitable.com. You can also subscribe to get the newsletter version of the show while you're there. Today's episode was written and produced by myself, Molly DeMillier, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis, and we'll see you tomorrow.